Tim Kravchunovsky. He's the founder and CEO of Chirp Wireless.
We're building a global wireless network for IoT where you can connect anything and everything, brand agnostic. And you're providing coverage for yourself to use, but also for people around you.
Chirp device is set up, ready to go.
All right, everybody. Today we have with us Chirp founder and CEO, Tim Kravchunovsky. And Tim is a long-term friend of mine, and he's also trying to build probably the biggest deep in project of 2024 and 2025, being Chirp Wireless. So, Tim, welcome to the show.
Hey, thank you so much, Isaiah. Thank you.
And thank you for walking me through installing my actual Chirp box. I promise there will be one in New York City very soon.
Yeah. No worries.
I know. I think we talked about it literally in winter. I was saying, "Oh, right, it's gonna be on the map. New York City, you're gonna be there." And then we're here in June.
Let's make it happen.
Yeah, I got it this weekend. Taking it out of storage. I got everything set up and ready. So, yeah,
awesome.
but we'll jump it into every time I bring up Chirp and they recognize your guys' project, they say, "Oh yeah, that is helium, but it works." So, that's a great reputation to have. And, we're going to bring the helium people on the show, hopefully soon, for they can rebuttal that. But yeah, explain Chirp to people maybe in that framework of what happened to helium, what problem you guys were trying to address, and why people see you guys as, why is that popular, that standing?
Yeah, so I think it's, stereotypes, essentially. When people hear IoT, they assume that it's helium. Although we do have LoRaWAN just like helium, we should not be compared because we're solving different problems. And it's not like we're trying to compete against helium. So we're setting up a network that is brand and radio agnostic. So essentially, the problem right now in IoT space is there's multiple radio technologies for all of the IoT devices. There's a Wi-Fi device, there's a LoRa device, there's a cellular device, so on and so forth. And it's just very difficult to connect all of them. And all of those devices, they belong to a certain manufacturer, and they're essentially closed systems. So what we're doing at Chirp is we're building this network, and we get confused with helium because we also have LoRaWAN, and we have LoRaWAN antennas. But essentially, on our network, you can install different types of antennas for different radio frequencies, not just LoRaWAN. So as far as LoRaWAN is concerned, it's actually better when LoRaWAN networks are open. For example, if we can partner with Helium and if we can incorporate our LoRaWAN networks together, that would be only better for the entire ecosystem. So we'll try to reach out to them and we'll see if it's possible. Because it's essentially when you have two different antennas, so for example, if you have a Chirp antenna and then you have a helium antenna on at the same place, there might be packet loss. But if those networks are open and they communicate with each other, then there's less of a chance of a packet loss, and it just makes for a better user experience. So, but LoRaWAN is essentially, it's only one protocol that is out there, but there's maybe like 15 different protocols for IoT. So what we're doing at Chirp is we're building this network, and we're also building the set of tools, the entire ecosystem for different projects that want to build anything asset related. So if you're building, I don't know, like autonomous vehicles, if you're building ride sharing, if you're building, like scooter sharing, whatever, we're giving you the tools, not only the connectivity, but we're giving you all of the tools to make your go-to-market strategy a lot quicker and cheaper in the end. So
that's amazing. You guys are trying to work with them. I think I remember the Microsoft CEO saying something of almost competition is somewhat dead, and now we're in like an interoperable world where you do gotta kind of work and build with other companies and other protocols.
I mean, that would be ideal, like if we can all cooperate, because at the end, this is the client that benefits from this, and we're all here for clients. that's why we're doing this from the very beginning. So.
Yeah. Now let's start with some simple definitions. Even what is, DPIN, and also maybe explain IoT, which is kind of interesting because AI is blown up, with these small acronyms, but IoT is still something I think that's even niche for a lot of mainstream people. So, what are both those concepts?
All right, so DPIN is fairly simple. It's decentralized physical infrastructure. It's a physical asset that you might have that belongs not to one centralized entity, but rather to a community. In our case, or in Helium's case, in that regard, those are antennas. And we're building decentralized wireless networks. So essentially, people buy the antennas. Those antennas belong to the community. They install them, and they get rewarded with tokens. But it could be anything. So essentially, there's companies right now that are building decentralized ride sharing, and it could be a vehicle that belongs to somebody that just shares it. So it could be a scooter. So right now, there's actually really cool projects that are building fractionalization of assets. And when you have something expensive as a vehicle, it could belong to multiple people. So you could fractionalize it and you have lower barrier to entry. So like essentially you can get in with, I don't know, like $100 and you can participate in those DPIN projects. So this is what DPIN is. I think, like if people really want to understand IoT, they have to stop thinking of devices, because like the first thing that comes to mind when people think of IoT is, I don't know, like a smart refrigerator or like a smart dishwasher that connects to the internet. But those are the things that you will never, ever use. I mean, like, why do you need your dishwasher connected to the internet? It's the dumbest thing on earth. So maybe in the future, I don't know, like when robots, they load the machines for you and unload them, then it might be helpful, like to connect them. But when you're doing everything manually, it's like, it's not of any use right now. So actually, if somebody wants to understand IoT, they need to think in terms of sensors and not the devices. And sensors are literally like everywhere. For example, like if you take Lime Scooter alone is actually 6 IoT devices because it has 6 different sensors inside.
Wow, I didn't know that.
So this is how big IoT is. Like when you think of IoT and you think of Lime Scooter, you think of only one entity, but it's actually it's actually 6 pieces inside that Lime Scooter. So that's why IoT is so big. It's like literally all around us right now. But it's just people. It's more of a back end. It's not something that people should like really think about, But it's literally. It's the largest invention from the inception of the internet, literally. So
wow.
That's how big IoT is. So
wow, and that's crazy to think because then DPIN is nestled in between that. And I think you're right. When people think about IoT, they think, oh, my refrigerator playing Spotify, or whatever, my refrigerator working with my dishwasher, and yada yada yada. So that's quite interesting to think of it as a back end invention. I want to play a clip real quick from your guys' page, and let's see, and maybe react to it real quick. I think this is a good way for people at home to understand what Chirp is.
Here's how it works. The Blackbird is a multi-protocol IoT gateway with antennas that provide short and long-range coverage for IoT devices. You can become a network keeper by installing a Blackbird at your home or office. By providing long-range network coverage for yourself and others around the globe, network keepers earn cryptocurrency rewards in Chirp's native token, Chirp. Imagine, for instance, a farmer who regularly has to water crops. With the help of Chirp's network and community of network keepers providing coverage, he's able to manage remote moisture sensors and sprinklers. Without even leaving his home, he can check soil humidity levels, and with a push of a button, activate a watering valve in the middle of the field with no internet or electricity. This prevents overwatering and removes all the guesswork of manual labor, streamlining operations while fueling economic output. Thanks to Chirp's state-of-the-art dashboard and mobile app,
I think that's a good place to stop. Everybody else wants to check out that video, we'll put the link in the description, and you definitely should. But yeah, I think that's a great video you guys put up there. So where does Chirp, I think you guys were getting into it actually later in the video, but where does Chirp nestle itself in, the connection of all these different IoT networks, the connection of all these devices and services? I mean, where do you, because, people might argue, well, why doesn't Google do this? Or why doesn't Apple do this? Why do we need Chirp?
All right. Well, so like Google and Apple, they're in a different business.
Sure.
So
I guess why doesn't Samsung or someone else like that? Maybe.
Well, yeah. So that's where decentralization comes in. But going back to the video, once again, on that video, it was just one use case with a farmer, but literally you have millions of different use cases for it's very difficult to explain. So like we picked a use case that would relate to anybody, but essentially once again, even there we're referring to sensors and not the devices. So it's a humidity sensor, it's a temperature sensor, it's a valve that controls the water.
I saw you guys even had smoke detectors.
So smoke detectors. I mean, like it's literally all of the devices. So we have car trackers. You can install a car tracker inside the vehicle, but that car tracker has multiple sensors inside as well. So when we're talking about connectivity is for a device. For example, for the car tracker, and it transmits the information from all of the sensors. What we're doing at Chirp is we're giving the different tools for the companies to build and use those sensors inside that car tracker as well. So we're not just the connectivity layer, we're a full-blown IoT platform where you could visualize the data from those sensors, where you have rules engines, where you can, based on the action of one sensor, you can trigger an action on another sensor from another manufacturer, and so on. So to answer your question, why doesn't like Apple or Google or any other company do this? Is the answer is simple. So like if you take a look at the telecommunications company, let's say Verizon. Verizon is a telecom giant in the US, but they focus only on voice connectivity. What is required to run a centralized voice network? You have to have lots of crews on land. You have to erect the cell towers, or you have to mount the antennas on rented place. But it requires a lot of people throughout the country to do this, and it's very, very time consuming, so they cannot broaden the spectrum of their offering. And essentially in here, what Deepen brings, or DY, decentralized wireless, is the entire network belongs to the community, and Chirp then just manages the backend, and it builds all of the tools to connect everything together. So the physical radio infrastructure, it's not so expensive for us. It's not so time consuming. I mean, like deploying a network in 33 countries. This is how big Chirp is already.
Yeah.
It's no easy task. And I mean, like if you take a look at multi-billion-dollar corporations like Verizon Wireless, they still don't have networks in multiple countries because it's not practical to do it in this centralized way. So Deepen, and I mean, like you have to give Helium credit for this. I mean, they invented this, and it was absolutely amazing. And this model absolutely works, but we're building on top of this. We're fixing some of the issues that Helium had with LoRaWAN network, but we're giving, like all of those tools for all of the projects to benefit from. So because IoT is huge. It's
Yeah, and that's a good point. I think a lot of people usually forget how big that helium sensation was because it happened so quickly and burnt out so fast. But it goes to show the interest, and it wasn't just the financial, economic interest. I mean, it was, oh wow, I can be a part of this network, and it was a huge fascination for a while.
I mean, it's still a network. I mean, like
Yeah,
it
yeah,
functions,
and
and
the phone networks.
it's still the largest LoRaWAN network out there.
Hmm.
So it's great. But LoRaWAN is just one of many connectivity protocols, and you connect multiple devices, and they use different radio protocols. So all of the protocols are needed, essentially. So.
From a challenge or a standpoint of challenges you guys have run into. I know you guys are based out of Germany, right? Is someone like the leader there now? I believe is Olaf Schultz, right? Correct
Mhm.
or
Yep.
is have you guys, is he a pro crypto guy? Have you gotten a lot of support from the countries that you guys have entered, or any support? And maybe we can even get into America and how you see that.
So the actual entity, I'm physically located in Germany, but the
Hmm.
entity is not registered in Germany. So
Got it.
in Germany, everything is okay. Government supports projects, especially they support projects that are building in Germany. So. Um, I think this is just like German culture in general. They will look at first at German companies before they look into export. And you really don't see that a lot. But like if you go to a store in Germany, you'll pick up any item. And majority of them, it's not made in China. It's made in Germany. So like you pick
Hey,
everything.
it's great.
Yeah, yeah. So, and it's everybody, So I actually had a meeting with a mayor of this local city a couple of weeks ago, and like I was telling him about Chirp, like how it could be beneficial for the government, so on and so forth. The first question he asked is like, where are the antennas made?
Oh my God, that's so funny.
So. Yeah. Yeah, yeah. So Germans in general, they think about their economy, they think about their country, and they put it first. So, but there's definitely support in here. So for all of the entities. So, for example, like when Corona was around, businesses were getting a lot of benefits from the government. Um, so still a lot of people closed, but I don't think it was like nearly as many businesses as in U.S. or other
Yeah.
countries. So
What do you think? 'Cause I remember correctly, you were a former U.S. Navy guy.
yeah,
What do you think about Donald Trump? Is his pro crypto stance real, or do you think And what do you see if the elections playing out? Maybe from afar, looking in.
I think it's a nice try, but like literally Trump is getting so much backlash from Democrats.
Yeah.
Anything that he touches, I wish he wouldn't have said anything about crypto, like because right now it's going to be in narrative of Democrats to like go against it. So it's like
Yeah.
anything that he does, the Democrats do
Opposite
the
day.
opposite.
Yeah. It's true.
So
I
yeah, yeah. So I'm not sure. I mean, like it's a good narrative because like all of the people that are against crypto, they're just they have those how do you call them, those horse blinds? Like
Yeah, I would say like dogmatic in a sense, where there's just, well, we're doing this because we were told.
yeah, yeah. Essentially, like nobody digs in deeper, and nobody's looking at the benefits of crypto. But it's essentially blockchain in general. I mean, like we have nothing to do with currency. Like we're not trying to compete with the US dollar or anything like that. We're using blockchain for different purposes. So
Yes.
when you're looking at crypto and, like you're against crypto, I think it's a very narrow-minded approach because, like crypto has a lot of benefits. For example, we're utilizing the blockchain for device data. So this is something new that we're doing because we can connect maybe the largest amount of IoT devices to our network and from different protocols. And if you save the data from those devices on the blockchain, it becomes immutable. And this is where actually government, they could be interested in that, because you have the immutable data that does not change. It could be very interesting for law enforcement. So for example, I don't know, like you have a car tracker in your car, you decide to share your data and put it on the blockchain. If somebody gets killed on the road and they're accusing you of killing that person, you can show the data and you can show that data from the car tracker, where you were, how fast you were driving, and they know for a fact that that data has not been changed. So, like it should be trusted by law enforcement. So there's a lot of benefits, like I said, and it's very narrow-minded approach when somebody takes a stand against crypto in general. So
Yeah, it's very myopic, I would say, and it's interesting that it will probably be a big narrative, and I'm sure we'll even maybe see it at the debates when it happens. And it's interesting also that Biden is taking crypto donations, but doesn't really support crypto. So, but a story
oh,
for
I haven't heard about that. That's funny.
yeah,
That's funny.
because as soon as Trump accepted donations, he was like, "Well, we got to do it too because we got to make this money." So,
Well, he
God,
probably forgot that he took crypto donations.
like, do you remember doing this? Why would you do this? It's a pretty simple question, but it is what it is. But yeah, so beginning to wrap up, let's get into the token. The Chirp token. What was the reason for you guys waiting, this long to get it out? And what are the plans for the token?
So like essentially, like we're IT and IoT guys. We
Yep.
took a different approach to building this. Instead of, like just kind of like pitching the idea, getting the money in, and then, launching the token, and then, like building our product, we actually took a different approach, and we took 2.5 years to build out a project. We thought that, like it would be appreciated by the people when they see something tangible. Yeah, that's why it took us a while. We have been building for 2.5 years. So essentially, the product is very mature. It's the actual radio access network is functioning. People are participating in that. The token is about to get launched. We're just, like waiting for better market conditions, but we're very, very close to a token launch. So
Awesome. Well,
yeah, exciting times ahead, most definitely.
yeah, we're all waiting for that bull market. It's coming soon. We keep
Yeah.
writing about it, but I think it's definitely on the horizon. And why did you guys choose? I think you get this question all the time, but I think people still. Why did you guys choose Sui blockchain to build on? I know a lot of people talk about Peak nowadays or Solana or whatever. It's funny because I think you were the first person I worked with who was just like, no, we can't. I'm not paying you in ETH. It's going to be way too expensive. It's going to be way too slow. And I was like, yeah, I get it. I was like, it makes sense. It's justified.
I mean, like honestly, it's still it's beyond my comprehension. Why would people pay like $23 for a transaction?
Yeah.
It's insane. I mean, like when you go to a bank, international wire transfer costs that much, So
Yeah.
it's like, yeah, I really don't understand it, but it's okay, like people are using Ethereum. If
I've
they
heard
wanna
it
pay
described more as an educational almost kind of project at this point where they're the first movers and they're still discovering a lot of things, but the current iteration is suboptimal.
Yeah. But I mean, like, like USDC and USDT, they trade on other chains. Why pay $23 per transaction when you can pay like a fraction of a cent
Yeah.
on other chains? So like, I still don't understand it. Like why people move money around on Ethereum. But it is what it is. So it's not my preferred choice. But when we were looking at different chains, it was actually 2.5 years ago. We looked at Solana, but we're building a business. At that time, Solana was not stable. I think they fixed a lot of the problems now, and it is stable. But at that time, launching on Solana, I think it would be a very irresponsible approach. We're first and foremost, we're building a business, and 2.5 years ago, Solana was down so many times.
Oh yeah.
Like if you're building a business, no, you need something reliable because like you select the blockchain as your home, and you want it to be reliable. So we looked at other options, and at that time, Sui and Aptos came around. They came from the same team in Facebook. But we kind of looked at Aptos. They're very similar with Sui, but we decided to go with Sui because like the team is we think it's a lot stronger. So the guy who created the Move language, he's the founder of Sui blockchain and not on Aptos. So he's like the brain behind this entire movement. And like we looked at it, it was very, very promising. Low transaction costs. It's scalable horizontally. And most importantly, it has extra storage space. And this is important for us because, we have this option to save device data on the blockchain. And it could be potentially a lot of data, a lot of messages. So from different IoT devices. So we needed something scalable, something with predictable costs, transaction costs, and extra storage on the blockchain. So it was just a natural choice to go with Sui. So
Yeah, and it worked out. Sui has been on the up and up for a very long time now, and I think people now see it as a very viable blockchain to continue to be increased in support.
exactly. What I like about it, actually, like it didn't spike on that hype in the very beginning. It had, like that smooth rollout. By the way, Sui has 100% uptime. So 100% is, it's
Yeah.
and right now, like it's going slowly and slowly in the uptrend. So that's great to see. So like we're seeing this adoption, but it's not, like those volatile movements on hype. It's showing the real adoption and showing that people are using it. So like when we launch our project, like in the next couple of months, it's also going to be a great benefit to the blockchain. But that being said, like we decided for Sui to be our home, but we're also integrating with Peak Network. So they have chosen us for IoT and like for different projects that are building on top of Peak to just speed up their go-to-market. So this is what we're doing with Peak. We're very excited about this. So because they're going to have a lot of projects that are deep in related with real world assets. And yeah, it's essentially every single real world asset. It has at least one sensor or it needs connectivity. So it's right up our alley. So
That's awesome. Wrapping things up, what's next for you guys? What do you got besides the token on the horizon? What other announcements could you share?
All right. So besides the token announcement, we're going to be launching fairly soon. We're just like waiting for like a little bit better market conditions, but it's like literally right around the corner now. Well, big announcements is we're holding a whole bunch of NFT campaigns right now. where people would be able to participate, get some tokens, already participate in the test net. We're going to have some exciting devices also that could be connected to our blockchain that will earn you Chirp tokens. So what else? Right now we have several campaigns. I encourage everyone to go to our Twitter account because all of the information is there. But we just announced winners of our previous campaign where people could win Chirp miners just for posting pictures of their installation site. So it was a giveaway. Right now we're giving away miners for refer a friend campaign. So yeah, lots of opportunities for everybody to participate and earn some tokens. Exciting times ahead.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to them. Hopefully, people, if you want to keep up to date with your guys' stuff, I know you guys are on Medium. That's a cool place to check you guys out. What other places should people go to look?
Telegram and Twitter. So on Twitter, we'll post everything. In Telegram, there's a very big and active community. You can see already, like pictures of installation sites, so on and so forth. If you join Telegram in there as well, you will not miss any messages. So like if we have any airdrops, and we're like literally launching an airdrop campaign, I think next week. So I encourage everyone to sign up for our Twitter and to our Telegram. So on Twitter, it's Chirp D. Oh man, I should know
that. No problem. I'm in the same boat.
Let me see what it is. Yeah, Chirp DY. I was right.
Chirp
so at Chirp DY. And on Telegram, it's Chirp IoT.
Chirp IoT. All right, perfect. All right, Tim, thank you so much for joining. And I promise you'll be seeing that New York City pop up soon. And you guys can take that one off. Yeah, check that one off the list. But all right, man. Thanks again.
Okay. Yeah. Thank you for